Hello. I understand you'd like to learn some magic. First of all, you have to promise me something. If you're going to learn magic, you have to promise the magician's oath. One, that you will never reveal these tricks to a non-magician. Now, you're asking yourself, but I'm telling you this trick. But if you're watching this video, that means that you want to learn, that you want to know how to do magic. And that means you're a magician too. But never, ever reveal these secrets to a non-magician. Two, that you will never use magic to harm or for profit when it is not deserved. Simply put, don't scam anybody. If you're going to get money, do it for a magic show, not pretending to be psychic. Does that sound good to you? Great. Then let's begin. Our first trick we're going to work on is called lapping. Now, lapping is a very simple trick, but it is incredibly effective. What you're going to do is you're going to watch for the opportunity to do this trick. Never ever force it. Simply wait, and that perfect moment will come your way. Lapping can only be done from a seated position. After all, it wouldn't be lapping if you didn't have a lap. Now, the first example that I'm going to show you is a simple pin. You're going to make this pin vanish right before people's eyes. Now, the trick is to do it when they're not expecting it. Don't tell them that you're going to make it vanish. Don't tell them that you're about to do a trick. Say, look at this. Isn't this interesting? And you take the pin and you begin moving it back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. You get that rhythm going, and that gets them used to seeing the pin move. It also gets that image in their mind, that image that the pin is supposed to be there. Then you add your hand movements, simply like this. Your hands are moving back and forth, and back and forth. And then, without noting it, without making a big deal, you simply and delicately wrap your fingers around the front. Now, what this does is it allows you to still create the audio of the pin moving back and forth and back and forth. And don't do this last part very long. You do this back and forth and back and forth. And then you can move to this back and forth. And then when you lift it up into the air, make the pin shrink until it has vanished from reality. Now, what did you do? All you did was put the pin in your lap. When you were moving it through the back, I'm going to hold it up so that you can see. You simply let the pin fall into your lap. It's a very simple trick, but the point is you don't show that it's vanished at that point, because that will make people look at your lap. What you do is you bring it back, let it fall into your lap, bring it forward, and then most of all, bring it up. And they think that the pin is behind your hands, but it's not. You're then going to bring it together and together and together and crumble it into nothingness and show it to be gone. Now, the next part is really, really hard. You have to leave the pin there. Your instinct is going to be to reach down and pull that out and go, look, everybody. And even if you don't do that, your instinct is going to be to reach down and try to move the pin to a more comfortable location. Don't do it. Excuse me. There was a famous magician who had a Polish accent, and someone asked him, how long do you wait before you reset a trick. And in his heavy Polish accent, he said, "You wait a week." In other words, do not touch that pin. Wait till later, let the party continue onwards, but do not touch it. Because if you do, you will direct everyone's attention there. Now, you have to pick the right moment. You have to pick a moment when you're sitting at a table. One of the best times is when you're at dinner. And that's going to lead into the next trick. But before I do, I want you to see it one more time from beginning to end. Here, this is kind of interesting. I saw this the other day. I want to see what you think about it. Check this out. This is kind of cool. Now you see the pin. The pin actually crumbles into nothing. You see? And most importantly, what am I not doing? I'm not reaching down to grab that pin. It's going to stay there until later, when you can very casually slip it into your pocket, and none will be the wiser. Now, I talked about that the best time to do lapping is during dinner. That leaves you the opportunity to do one of my favorite dinner magic tricks, and I'm going to show you that now. All you need is a salt shaker, or any small object of similar size will do perfectly fine. Now, you can easily work your way through the objects in there as if you're deciding. It makes it more real. It also makes it much more interesting if the objects that you use in magic are not a special magic trick. If you pull out sponge balls, people are expecting you to do a magic trick. But if you pull out the objects from a shaker and set them aside, as if you're deciding, should I use sugar? Maybe NutraSweet would be better. No. Maybe pepper? Will I use pepper or should I use salt? Yes, you know what? I'm going to use pepper. That is what will really get people's attention because it's so normal. What's best of all is if it's something that occurs naturally and organically during the dinner program. If you're at a dinner and someone passes you the salt, you say, "Thank you. You know, I found out something weird about salt. It has a weird property." And just go organically into the trick. Not a big, "I am about to do an illusion." Nothing like that. Just, there's something very interesting about pepper that I want to show you. And just like before, you can move it back and forth, and get them used to that movement. But here, you're going to add a second prop, and that's going to let you do something really special. This prop is the easiest thing in the world. Now, for this trick, I'm using a paper towel, but most likely at the table, you'll have a paper napkin. This won't work quite as well with a cloth napkin, but you can do it with one. I just like it better with a paper napkin. So again, you're looking for that opportunity. You're not trying to force the moment. You're just waiting for that right opportunity. And you've gone through all your different things. You've examined this and that, or you said, "Oh, I want to show you something interesting about pepper, something that you might not have expected." And you say, "There's something special about pepper I learned, is that it actually has an ability to do something that most things don't." And you make the form of that pepper in there. So it's actually like a little ghost. It's like a little ghost in there. And it's been formed into the shape of that pepper. And then you can move it back and forth, and you're waiting for just the right moment. And just like before, you are not going to reveal that it's missing. You are not going to reveal that it's missing when it's at your lap. You're going to do it later. So back and forth, and then you let that shaker just fall into your lap, but you come back and say, watch this, and you slam down on it. Now at this point you have two options. One, you can show that it's completely gone. You can actually tear up. Now, you may ask, why am I tearing it up? It's obvious it's not there. But when you tear up the object that it was supposed to be in, for some reason, that makes it more real for people. So I want you to try that. You can tear it and tear it. It also is distracting them from your lap. And you must not ever look at your lap. And just remember, you vet avik. You do not reach into that lap. You don't touch that lap. If it falls out of your lap and hits the ground, you ignore it and you keep talking. Just ignore it. And you'll be amazed how often no one will be any the wiser. You also have another option at this point. One, when you just slam down and made it disappear, you can, with your other hand, be holding that salt or pepper shaker, and you can actually make it clink against the bottom. So when you slam down, and then you can make that same sound. Do you hear that sound? You can make that same sound and show that the shaker has come through the actual wood of the table. Personally, I like that a little bit better. If you just want to make it disappear, that's perfectly fine. Just leave it in your lap, go on about the dinner, have fun, and don't touch that shaker for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Then again, you can very deftly set it aside and it will be out of the way. But let's do that from the beginning again. So you're at the dinner table and you're saying, you know, I found out something interesting the other day. Let me see. No, it's not that. Is it salt? No, it's not that. It's one of these things. Oh, yes. It was pepper. There's something very interesting about pepper that I learned. Let me show you. You get your paper towel, or in this case, a paper napkin or paper towel, and you make the shape of it inside. Make sure you get it completely wrapped up, and it must take on the shape of the thing. Move it back and forth, and at the right moment, let it drop into your lap, but keep going forward. And if you want to be very sneaky and very skilled, you can touch the bottom of that shaker to the bottom of the table and move it forward, move it back, move it forward, move it back. Now, you have fooled them with two different senses. A magic trick is always more powerful when it uses two different senses. So you're moving it back and forth, and then when it's far away from you, I'm showing you here so you can see, but when it's far away from you, you slam down on it, and with the bottom, you hit at the same time. You make that sound, and when you make that audio sound, it makes it more real. And if you can make it more real, you can really fool people. Now, this time, you pull it up to reveal that it's missing, but you reach down and you pull it and say that pepper will actually come through the table. And remember that if you can ever make an object disappear, it is always better if you can bring it back. Now, what I want you to do, most importantly, I want you to practice. I want you to find a shaker and some paper towels, and I want you to go back and forth and do it over and over and over again. And then I want you to find a loved one, and I want you to practice it on them and ask them what they think, and then wait for your moment. Wait for that dinner table. Wait for that party, and you will be the life of it. All right? Good luck.